What's up, guys? So today I just got back from the gym and I'm here in my parking garage, and I said, you know what, let me record a video because I had a brief conversation with one of the trainers while I was in the gym. She came over to me and was trying to show me how to do this exercise. I guess I was doing it wrong. Matter of fact, I know I was doing it wrong because I didn't understand what the guy was, what he said do. And she was trying to tell me what to do. And then she realized I ain't speak Spanish, and she said, you speak Spanish? I was like, nah. I said, a little bit. She said, you speak English? I said, yeah. So she said, oh, I can talk in English. And so she started explaining it to me in English. So as she was about to walk away, she said, so where are you from? I said, I'm from Alabama. She said, well, what brings you to Dominican Republic? Why are you here? Are you Dominican? And I was like, no, I'm not Dominican. I'm an American. I'm American. And so she said, do you like it here? I said, man, I love it here. And she said, how do you feel here? Do you have any problems? Anything? I said, no. I said, I feel fine. I feel good. She said, do you feel safe here? I was like, yeah, I feel safe here. And I said, much safer than I feel in the US. She responded by saying, you don't see the type of things that happen in the United States that happen here in Dominican Republic. Like, you can go to a mall and people start shooting. This is what she was saying. And I was like, no, you typically don't, you don't really see that here. You don't see that here at all. And she said, I remember being in Aventura Mall. And I said, oh yeah, that's in South Florida. That's in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. She said, yeah. And she said, I was in there with some of my Dominican friends. The next thing you know, they're just shopping. And she said, they told us to just run into this store and take cover. And we was like, what happened? What happened? And she said, what was going on was nowhere near where they were, but it was somewhere in the mall. And if you know about Aventura Mall, then you know how big that mall is. So it could have been on the other side or wherever. She was like, what was going on? And she was like, what the? She said, what the? She said, I just want to buy some stuff and get back to the Dominican Republic, and they're rushing me in here. And so I was like, yeah, that's just how it is in the US. It just made me think, man, that living here has been a breath of fresh air for me. And I'm gonna tell you, some of the reasons why. But I already know once I start talking about safety here, the people in the US get mad because they want to bring up per capita and they want to argue that it's not. And then you get Dominicans that get mad because you say it's safe and they want you to visit the barrios so you can see that how unsafe it is. What the hell I want to go to the barrio for? You know what I'm saying? Just to prove it what? To you? And it's wild because when you say something is safer, they make it seem like you're saying that there's no crime. One guy got in the comment, he wants to say, you act like the Dominican Republic is a safe haven. As soon as I seen that, I blocked him. I blocked him, then I deleted the comment because I already know he's disingenuous. When you start off your comments attacking me with ad hominems and wanting to be right, I don't even finish it, man. I just block you and delete it. Because just because you say something is safer doesn't mean there's no crime. That's just like, what if I said that you are smarter than me, that doesn't mean that I'm dumb. And that doesn't mean that you're the smartest person in the world. It just means that you're smarter than me. I could still be smart. If I say LeBron James is taller than Michael Jordan, that doesn't mean Michael Jordan is short. And that doesn't mean that LeBron James is the tallest person in the world. It just means what it means. LeBron James is taller than Michael Jordan. That's all it means. And when people try to make these straw man arguments about per capita and going to the barrio, I don't even listen to none of that because I already know you're being disingenuous. Because saying something is safer doesn't mean there's no crime. It just means that it's safer. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Having said that, I just want to talk about why I feel that living here in Dominican Republic has been a breath of fresh air for me. And the one point we just talked about, and it's the safety. I just feel that I can go to regular places that I used to can go to in America and not have to feel like there's some potential threat that can possibly happen. Grocery stores, malls, and things like that. I just feel like it's a breath of fresh air to not have to worry about that. Where I know there's a concern for a certain percentage of the population in the US that doesn't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna harp on the safety thing because I think people understand that, but safety is one of them where I just feel like it's just a breath of fresh air. The next one is politics. But when I say politics is that nowadays you are identified through your political views. Like who you vote for defines who you are. And that doesn't happen here. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't happen here. People are not sitting around asking you about who you vote for and putting in a box or a category based on who you vote for. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Like, you're not even a lawyer anymore over there. You're not even an electrician. You're not a plumber. You're not an auto mechanic. It's who you vote for is who you are. Like, it's almost like politics has replaced religion a little bit. Like, people identify with who you vote for. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And over here is a breath of fresh air that everybody ain't walking around worrying about politics all day long, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? I don't never hear anybody talk about politics. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's probably political season. But man, in America, it's 24/7. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I had a guy had left a comment on one of my videos. I guess it was the one where I was talking about the shooting that happened in Georgia. And he was like, something to the effect like, hey man, I agree with you about such and such, but I almost thought that you was a Kamala Harris supporter. I'm looking at that like, why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Why does it matter who I vote for? Why does my political view, why are you worrying about my political view? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what I am. I never said who I vote for or who I ain't gonna vote for because it's nobody's business but mine. It's my vote. I can do what the hell I want to do with it. It's not your business. If I was a Kamala Harris voter, what that mean? You gonna stop watching my videos? Stop now. Don't worry about that. If you perceive that's what it is, if that's what is gonna lead you to define who I am, then why you just stop watching it now? I seen a video the other day, man, where this artist, the title, it was in my YouTube feed. The title said why I'm not gonna vote, why I stop supporting Trump. I don't really care about none of that stuff, man, but I clicked on the video just because I wanted to go to the comments. Because I know when you see those salacious titles like that, I already know what's in the comments. And this guy was an artist. And immediately in the comments, well, we not supporting your music anymore. We're not gonna, hey, nobody cares what you do. Hey, you're canceled now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you like his music, but just because he don't want to support your guy, you're canceling? Like, our identity now is just based on who you vote for or who you like. And it's crazy, man. So here, a breath of fresh air. And another breath of fresh air is the sense of community. The other day, the next door neighbor's niece was at home with the cleaner. When she gets out of school, she goes over there with the cleaner. And the cleaner was about to leave because the aunt hadn't made it home yet because of work. I guess she had to, work a little late or she got caught in traffic, whatever the case may be. You know what she did? The girl called us, the niece sent us a message and said, hey, the cleaner's gonna leave. Can I come over there and stay until my aunt comes home? And you know what we said? Of course. Just that sense of community where you can depend on your neighbors. I grew up like that. Miss Naomi, Miss Mary, Miss Dolores, Miss Bessie, Mrs. Castor. All these people I could depend on when I was younger, Miss Brown, all these people my mama could have called and said, hey, could you watch Lil James Child get out work? And all of them would have said yes. All of them. We have lost that sense of community because everybody just seems to be more focused on themselves. And I get it because that's just how the society has become. It's not like I blame people because hell, when I was living there, I was the same way because you really don't know people anymore. You know what I'm saying? With so many things going on, you really don't know who you can trust. But over here, that sense of community where you still have neighbors, you still talk to them. It's just a breath of fresh air, and I enjoy it. And another thing, I probably should have put that with, after the politics and all this stuff, because, it's pretty much similar. It's the race talk. Everything has to be about race in the United States, man. And over here, man, nobody is talking about race and what color they are. The only people that talk about race here are Americans. Americans are the only people that bring up race around here. I don't see any Dominicans sitting around talking about race. It's Americans bring this over here, and then they get on these channels and they start talking about it, and then bringing other Dominicans in, having them talk about it. Dominicans don't sit around and discuss that shit, man. Don't be fooled in thinking that Dominicans sit around and talk about race, because they don't. And it's a breath of fresh air that I don't have to sit around and listen to that 24/7 about race. Me personally, I don't see the benefit of talking about race 24/7. It's not like you're going to eradicate it. And I'm not saying don't act like it don't exist, because it does. If you know it's there, move accordingly. But we don't have to feed into this narrative all the time that everything is about race, man. Because a lot of times it ain't about race. It's about you and how you show up in the world. And how you show up is how people end up treating you. And if everything that you think and feel inside is about race, you're going to show up that way. I ain't gonna lie. In the US, I thought like that because it's deeply ingrained in our social fabric. But here, it's not deeply ingrained in it. People don't sit around and talk about it. And it's a breath of fresh air that I don't have to sit around and worry about that or listen to people talk about that 24/7. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist over here, because we know it does. But to me, it's more classism here than it is racism. And for me, that's a breath of fresh air. And the last one, police interactions. Man, listen, it's a breath of fresh air when I get stopped by the police or I have an interaction, which is not a lot. But when I do, I'm not fearful of anything happening to me. I'm not fearful of them abusing their power. And I know some people gonna have a different story, and that's fine. That's your story. It's not my story. So don't make my experience your experience. I'm talking about my experience. I am not fearful of an interaction with the police. When I am on the streets and I'm driving, even after I left a bar and may have had one drink, I'm not worried about the police pulling me over because little Jimmy got a D on his report card and he wants to take it out on me. I just ride home, carefree, not worrying about any of that bullshit. And to me, that's a breath of fresh air. But I also say this, I understand that I've only been here 3 years, so there's still this type of new effect that I'm having, and just these new challenges and seeing new things and interacting with new people where I am enjoying myself. And I've said this in a video before. I don't know what the next 10 years are gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in 10 years, maybe the things that I'm describing now about Dominican Republic, maybe it no longer exists anymore in 10 years and I have to make another decision. But for right now, what I'm describing right now is my truth. And just like when I was in the United States, I never thought that I was gonna move out of the country, but you never know. Things change, people change, and you have to make new decisions. But as of right now, that's not the case. So I'm not saying that, oh, this is the best place to be and I'm gonna be living here permanently. I don't know that. But If things remain the same as how I envision it or how it is for me now, then it's a possibility I can be here longer. But nobody knows that. So anyway, man, I just wanted to pop in, talk about that. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begot aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no.